My research is done on the impact that genetics has on stuttering severity and recovery. So for the introduction, stuttering is a fluency disorder that consists of many disfluencies of varying types. Stuttering usually becomes apparent between the ages of 2 and 6 years old and will in most cases require treatment to improve. A child may recover from their stutter or continue to stutter into their adult life. The purpose of this research is to examine how an individual's family history may play a part in determining if an individual will recover from their stuttering, and if they do not, how severe their stutter is expected to be in the future. It has been concluded that familial stuttering was apparent in 30 to 60% of people who stutter. Stuttering can be described at 3 different levels. Those levels include normal disfluency, mild stuttering, and severe stuttering. Stuttering is a significant topic because it impacts more than just a person's speech. It can negatively impact how a person thinks of themselves and their ability to communicate with others, their confidence, and their social life. So for learner outcomes, some of the questions that will be addressed throughout this presentation include: do genetics have an impact on stuttering severity and recovery? And are there common trends in their family history of stuttering? So for the participants, this research consisted of data gathered from approximately 938 participants across studies mentioned above. Participants were selected if they stuttered, and some studies also consisted of control groups full of individuals who do not stutter. Studies involved both males and females from children to adults. For procedures, this narrative was conducted by examining existing research data involving genetics and their involvement in one's stuttering severity and recovery. For the measures, data was collected using multiple different measures, including standardized articulation and language tests, the analysis of genealogical index of families, regression analysis, and chi-square tests. They also included blinded observer-based quantitative stuttering disfluency measures and individual self-reported measures of struggle. So for the literature review, the first article I'll be discussing is titled Genetic Factors in Therapy Outcomes in Persistent Developmental Stuttering. And the purpose of this study was to investigate whether outcomes of therapy for persistent developmental stuttering differ in individuals who carry a mutation in one of the known associated with stuttering compared to individuals without such mutation. So the participants in the study consisted of 51 stuttering individuals who carried a mutation in either the GNPTAB, GNPTG, NAGPA, or AP4E1 gene. These 51 participants were compared against 51 individuals who matched them in age, gender, ethnicity, and went through the same therapy program, but they did not carry a mutation in any of the previously listed genes. Fluency was measured pre- and post-therapy using the Disfluent Word Score and perceptions of stuttering inventory, and then evaluated. Results in this study showed that mutation carriers achieved significantly less resolution in PSI. The next study covered in the literature review was titled Young Children's Family History of Stuttering in Their Articulation and Language. The purpose of this study was to determine whether young children who both do and do not stutter and have a positive or negative family history with stuttering differ in articulation and language. The participants consisted of 25 young children who stuttered and 50 children who did not stutter. All participants had similar family information gathered and their speech abilities measured using 4 standardized articulation tests. Results showed that the caregivers' responses of positive or negative history of stuttering were consistent. Findings also showed that children who didn't stutter with a positive family history of stuttering had lower language scores than those with a negative family history of stuttering. In conclusion, over years of research, in many cases there has been a link between genetics and stuttering recovery, showing many similar cases within families. There has been more research focused on genetics in relation to recovery than severity. The findings on genetics' relation to severity of stuttering are not as strongly supported, but have shown connection as well. Implications in this research include the idea argued by Yari and Ambrose that genetic information can be employed at diagnostic, prognostic, treatment, and counseling levels. They also argue that a clinician should be alerted to the fact that a child may be prone to stuttering when there's a strong family tendency. And that's Yari et al. 2005. For future research would still need to be done to stronger justify the results of this research question, especially in regards to stuttering severity of individuals and in regards to their genetic makeup and history.